All right, so I'm talking to my homeboy a couple days ago. He just recently upgraded to a Hellcat Charger, right? Slim body joint, 707 horsepower. He was one of the first dudes that I knew personally that ever had a Scat Pack. 2015, he had a Scat Pack. Nobody had Scats or Cats in 2015 except for him. And he traded in his Scat Pack Challenger for a Hellcat Charger because, he got a family now. And so I'm sitting back talking to him, and I'm like, man, I know you riding high on the hog. Like, I know you feeling this thing because you got a Hellcat now, 707 horsepower. And he was like, on one hand, I love the power. I love the acceleration, the torque, all that good stuff. But on the other hand, sometimes it's just too much. It can get away from you real quickly. And it's one of those things where sometimes it's not even fun because if you don't know what you're doing, you can have your car wrapped around a tree. And I said, well, regardless of that, you still got the power, right? Like it's still at your disposal whenever you want to hit the gas and go. And he was like, sometimes I kind of miss my Scat Pack because it was more controllable. I felt like I had more control over a 485 horsepower muscle car than a 707 horsepower, super muscle car type deal. And that's not the first time I've heard somebody say that, who just bought a Hellcat. Like the power is almost uncontrollable. Is that true? Is the Hellcat too much sometimes? Is the Scat Pack more fun in some cases? Let's talk about it, man. What's going on? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video. So as you can tell, I'm in a car that makes us a car blog. You already know how it's going down when I come around. Let's get into it. Car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around. For everything else, hit the subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. But before I get started, I just want you to know I'm not the only one in this video right now. That's a ladybug right there. You see that right there on my steering wheel? That's a sign of good luck. So I'm just going to leave her right there and let her do what she do. But so the purpose of me making this video, man, is one of my homeboys, like I said in the intro, just recently upgraded to a Hellcat Charger, slim body joint, 707 horsepower. Like I said, he was one of the first people that I had seen that ever had a Scat Pack. Like he had a Scat Pack in 2015, back when first generation Scat Packs and Hellcats were out. He had a Scat. Nobody had a Scat back then. 485 horsepower in 2015 was like, what, top 2, top 3 most powerful cars, other than obviously the Hellcat on top of the Scat. But anyway, he's had the Scat since 2015, recently had a family situation, so he traded in the Scat Challenger for a Hellcat Charger. I'm sitting there talking to him on the gram a couple days ago, and I'm like, congratulations on the Cat, you got all that power, so on and so forth. And he's like, man, I love this car, I love the sound, I love the power, but sometimes it's too much. He said sometimes it'll get away from you. I mean, he's told me one instance specifically where it was a beautiful day just like this, sunny outside. And Hellcats used to come with 275s all the way around, which were basically, bicycle tires. But 275s all the way around, and he tells me on a beautiful day like this, he was merging onto the highway, and he said he just hit it, just floored it. And he said he spun to the point that it scared him. Like he got almost sideways. If you can imagine merging onto a highway coming off the embankment or whatever, and you're merging onto the highway, and obviously you got to pick up speed to catch up, right? He hits it hard, and he tells me that he damn near loses it coming onto the highway, coming on to 485. If you're in Charlotte, 485 is that big highway around the city or whatever. But says that he damn near loses it, right? Now, obviously, he's got to get used to the power, so I'm not going to put it all on the car or the engine. You got to get used to the power. 485 to 707 is a huge jump. I mean, that's damn near 2 Scat Pack engines. Almost 2 Scat Pack engines. But that's a huge jump. You got to get used to the power. You got to get used to the power, the torque, the acceleration, all that stuff. But I asked him, well, regardless of that, once you get used to it, it's still power. It's still 700 horsepower. And he was like, yeah, I appreciate the power. I think it's dope. And having a Cat, having the bragging rights, because he's got the red interior, the red guts, all that good stuff. He was like, yeah, that's dope and everything, but sometimes it's just too much. Like it's uncontrollably too much. It's the type of power where you can just get loose and get sideways and end up in a ditch or end up wrapped around a tree if you don't know what you're doing in these cars. Which is why so oftentimes you get on Instagram and you see a Hellcat wrapped around a pole or wrapped around a tree or flipped over because you got 700 horsepower, 202, 205 miles per hour under the foot. You know what I'm saying? That you can do whatever you want to with it. And I asked him, well, regardless, it's still more than your Scat. I'm sure that you enjoy it. He was like, sometimes I miss my Scat because Scat was kind of the best of both worlds. I mean, right now, if you look at new Hellcats and new Scat Packs, and we've talked about this in the past, Scat Pack wide body on Dodge's website, Chargers, $54,835. Jailbreak is $89,135. So from the top of the line Scat Pack wide body to the top of the line Hellcat, we're looking at about a $45,000 difference. So almost a Scat Pack difference between the price of a Scat Pack and the price of a Hellcat. So economically speaking, we already know the Scat Pack makes more sense. And the Scat Pack looks just like a Hellcat. I mean, wide body fender flares. The only difference is the emblems and, of course, the hood. The hood is different because you get the Hellcat hood because you need the heat extractors or whatever. So, you know, he was just like, I miss my Scat Pack, man. I miss it because it was controllable power. It was loud. It was powerful, you know, smoked a lot of guys. You can do a lot with it. You can take 485, turn 485 to 585 to 685. You can make it a monster. But it was just more controllable, and I had more fun in it. And he was talking about swinging it and getting loose and stuff like that. And he basically said like he felt like he had more control over his Scat than the Cat, which makes sense because you got 315, 330 horsepower less in the Scat than the Cat. So that makes sense. And you know what, almost 20, 25 miles less than a Hellcat. I get that. But he was just like, I enjoyed it more. Like getting in a Hellcat, and when you floor it and put the gas down, the pedal all the way down, like you're hoping and praying that your tires hook up. Because if they don't and you're doing 60, 70 on the highway, I've seen people spinning in a Hellcat at 60, 70 miles per hour. You know, I've seen people on the highway doing rolls and they're in what, third, fourth gear, and they're just spinning. You know what I'm saying? So let's not act like you can't spin in a damn Hellcat when it's moving. People expect it to spin from a stop, which is another conversation in and of itself. But when you're on a highway and you're doing a 60, 70 roll and you're still spinning through third and fourth gear, and he was saying that that was basically what was happening. Now I told him, you know, get you some bigger tires, get you some better tires, you know, warm up your tires before you get active, stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. But he just felt like he had more control over the Scat. He said the Scat was a little more fun to drive. And that's not the first person that I've heard say that. That's not the first Hellcat owner that I've heard say that. Like I've heard two other people tell me that exact same thing, that the Scat was more fun than the Cat because of the ability to control the power, you know? Every time I've ever driven a Hellcat, like, it's right there. Whatever you want is right there. And the thing about Dodge is, I mean, you push, this traction control button and hold it down, it's your car. And for you that don't know what I'm talking about, that basically turns the traction off. So that means it's you, it's the pavement, and it's God at that point. You feel me? Like, nothing's there to prevent you from ruining your life or ending your life or ending somebody else's life. Like, it's just you, the pavement, and God at that point. Like, nothing else is going to stop you. Once you turn that traction off, all 700, 800 plus horsepower is yours to do as you please with it. Whereas in the Scat, don't get me wrong, you can still mess up. You can still wrap that shit around a corner. You can still wrap it around a tree, a pole. You can still end your life and end somebody else's. But it's one of those things like you get the best of all worlds. For one, financially, it just makes better sense because it's $30,000, almost $40,000 cheaper, right? And two, it's the kind of power where it's like, I can put this power down. I can handle this. I can put it down on the line. You know what I'm saying? Even in the Scat Pack I spin, and I got 315s all the way around. But you're less likely or more likely to control the spin in the Scat than you are a Hellcat. Let's just be honest here. I mean, one of my homeboys, shout out to my man, Helgato. Like, I've seen him from a dig. I remember one time he was racing a ZL1, and I lie to you not, he spun, and you could just see the tire tread on the ground easily through like the first three gears, like just spinning. Like 60 miles an hour, that dude was just spinning. And that's the only way that the ZL1 actually beat him, because we were running like some short shit, you know, some back of a manufacturing plant type streets. So it really didn't have a lot of grip, a lot of track to run on. But he was just spinning like crazy. And I've seen so many Hellcats just spin. I've seen Hellcats lose to cars that we shouldn't be losing to because all we do is spin, because there's just so much power going to the rear wheels. And you only got two wheels that's really controlling that power, or supposed to be controlling that power. And once they're gone, like, it's just, you're just spinning at that point. And I guess my question is for a lot of you guys out there, because like I said, a lot of you guys in my DMs have been asking about Scats. Like, every now and then I'll hear about a Cat, normally a used Cat. Very, very rarely do I hear people hit me in the DMs about a brand new Cat, you know, $90,000, $100,000 Cat. but most times it's Scat. So that tells me, and I've even heard Dodge say it themselves, that their best-selling performance car is the Scat Pack. So that tells me everybody's going for the Scat Pack. So, you know, I would assume people are happy with the power that it produces. But for a lot of you out there, I know a lot of you guys are kind of sitting back like, yeah, you know, 485, and I'm one of them. 485 is a lot of power, but I still want the Hellcat. I definitely want a Hellcat. It's coming on this channel. Don't worry about that. And it's a surprise, but it's coming on the channel for sure. But it's just one of them things like, is the Hellcat almost overkill at some point? Like, I know a lot of you guys who have RTs or have Scat Packs, some of you guys, you know, are content with what you have because it's like, this is plenty of power for me. Like 485 horsepower is plenty of power unless you're taking your shit to the drag strip or the track every weekend, in which case, then, you know, go ahead and build your monster car. But for 90% of the population, 485 horsepower is plenty, right? It's plenty. It's plenty to get active in, right? You want to tear up the highway, tear up the streets, whatever the case may be. You're behind a manufacturing building and you want to do some donuts, swing it, get loose. 485 horsepower is plenty of power. You know, do you really need a Hellcat these days and time? I know we've talked about it from a financial perspective, but it's like, let's talk about the power. Like, some of you guys don't need to be in a 700 horsepower muscle car. You feel me? Or you need to take your time getting there. You don't need to go from a V6 to it or RT to a Cat. You know, you need to go through your progressions. You know, like most people, they get a Scat and then they get a Cat, or they get an RT and then they get a Cat kind of thing. But talk to me, man. I mean, are Scat Packs more fun to drive than Hellcats because you can control the power? Now, of course, everybody wants the big engine. They want the whine. They want the badges. But not everybody can control that power. And that's where the problem comes in. Everybody wants that power, but not everybody can control it. So I'm saying some of you should probably be looking at Scats and RTs instead of Cats and jailbreaks and demons. You know what I'm saying? And red eyes. Some of you need to stay right there in that middle to lower range. Like, that's you right there. That's the safe zone for you. But talk to me, guys. Are Scats more fun than Cats? Or regardless of controllability, you still want that big 6.2 liter supercharged? I know some of you are sitting back like, I don't care about controlling it. I just want the biggest engine possible. I want the most power, want the most speed, the biggest acceleration, all of that. I don't care about anything else. And to you guys, I understand that because I'm one of them too. But for the other people that are logical and make sense and all that good stuff, owning a 500 horsepower Scat is probably enough, right? I don't know, man. Talk to your boys. Always been your boy Knockout, man. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Oh, another thing I wanted to say. So today is December 1st when this video is dropping. And if you guys don't know, a lot of YouTubers like to do something they call VLOGMAS, where they basically put out a video every single day leading up to Christmas. So 25 videos up to Christmas, because obviously Christmas is on the 25th. I'm going to try my best. I have been dared at this point by 2 other YouTubers to do that. I've seen a lot of other YouTubers do it, and I'm going to try my hand at it this month as well, to give you 25 videos every single day up till Christmas. You know, I'm going to make them as high quality as I can. Obviously, I'm not going to give you a bunch of busy work type videos. I'm going to the gym, putting gas in my car, crazy stuff, or silly stuff. But I'm going to try to give you guys 25 videos every single day leading up to Christmas, starting today. You may be getting these videos late as hell. You might see some videos pop in at midnight. You know, get a notification that Knockout just dropped the video at 1 a.m. or 11:30 p.m. But regardless, I'm going to give it a valiant effort, guys, and, you know, we'll go from there. I just wanted to let you guys know, just in case you see a bunch of videos coming your way, and you're like, hold on, what's going on, man? Is he unemployed? Is he lost it? No, I'm not. I'm just trying to, you know, do a little something different with the channel here. But as always, guys, it's been your boy Knockout, man. I'm going to get out of here. See you in the next one. Peace.